down. No warnings. You found us. We don't introduce ourselves. You already know the sound. When the table goes quiet, that's the Syndicate now. No heroes, no villains, no saving face. Just pressure stacking at a ruthless pace. If you're still asking what this is about, you're already the one getting counted it out. We don't knock, we don't win, we don't fold, we escalate. One table, one code, one rule, survive. Welcome to the Syndicate. Now stay alive. Welcome to the Syndicate. Seats are filling. Nothing random remains. Lock it in. Let it ride. Every hand draws a line. No heroes, no villains, no saving face. Just pressure stacking at a ruthless pace. If you're still asking what this is about, you're already the one getting counted out. We don't knock, we don't wait, we don't fold, we escalate. One table, one code, one rule, survive. Welcome to the Syndicate. Now stay alive. Welcome to the Syndicate. From the tables of dust to the empire of flame, we carved our legacy, we branded the name. When the clock hits zero, fate bows to the brave. The Syndicate rises and the world must cave. Slip the cups with a smile. Oh, hear the chimps applaud. Tambourines and chaos, darling, I was born to break the law. With sequins on my jacket and chamomile perfume, I strolled out of that prison like I own the whole damn room. I take your chips, your watch, your pride. Why hold back when you can glide? It's a high-speed chase. bankroll vanishes with flair. Oh look, my chimps are in your chair.
Well, another chase is about to begin with 6 players at the table. Some players got confused running late. Did not make the cutoff, did not make the check-ins, did not make the registrations. So unfortunately, we had a huge starting group, but we're only down to 6. For the final high-speed chase, I won't be working my voice too much tonight. Chase the little kleptomaniac son of a bitch with his multicolored hair and his not translucent. What is that? Iridescent jacket of his. Stealing points from the players as he goes around hiding at the tables. Bounty game. Every point that Chase takes, he is worth that much. Each player has 3 points in their bank. And he steals one of those every time he sits with one of them. It's a mixed game format, a little bit of No Limit Hold'em, Pot Limit Omaha, and Pot Limit Omaha 8, PLO 8, also known as High-Low. With the Syndicate Poker Club playing free-to-play poker at PokerNow.com. For now. Small group of Millie, Chase's girlfriend. Newcomer TR Steven. Jam Rock and Roll, Biggie Large, Case Lee. Looking for the win tonight to take the champ, take the crown. Ika Kika, hot on the trail. Everybody's got a chance at taking the crown away from Chase here tonight. Let's just take a peek real quick. You guys won't take a peek, but I will. As to where the leaderboard stands. As we get ready to go here, as cards are in the air, we shuffle up and deal. 6 players looking for all the Chase points tonight. Chase went for 12 points last week. I think he went for 12 last week. The week before that, too. Case Lee currently holding the top #1 spot. About 10 points ahead of Jam Rock and Roll currently. Millie in 3rd. Ika's in 4th. Daniel Biscuit not making tonight's game. Was the winner of the original Chase series. Last I heard, him and Daniel and Chase are going to be out having a party afterwards. I have the exclusive footage of that. Boss trying to get in, could not get it here. Chase sitting with one of our random players at the moment. And when he leaves, if he leaves, he will take a point away from their point bank, which we have to get revamped up here because our player base completely changed from what it was supposed to be. So we will be doing that momentarily. As we call the game with Ika, Casely, Biggie, Jam, Steven, and Millie. Actually, all of your top slot players are all here, with the exception of Steven. Steven could still make a very good showing in this one single solitary game. Leaderboard for the entire series is only 9 players. Blinds start out at 10-20. They go up randomly. Sometimes they even go down when the chimpanzees are loose. Actually, we got our point leaderboard cleaned up real quick, easily there, as it turns out. And you'll have to pardon me if I turn the mic down here momentarily and you don't hear me talk. Still battling the issues of the throat. But then I'll talk really soft and mysteriously and put you all to sleep. Just kidding. We got to keep the energy up. It is the Chase series. Chase, the final chase. This is it for the big giant crown of purple and green and pink and blue hair, or whatever colors are in Chase's wig there. Jam rock and roll, taking a few chips there on that hand as we're still in No Limit Hold'em for a few more hands left to go. Got 2 more hands in No Limit Hold'em, then we will switch up to Pot Limit Omaha. And then after that, a couple of hands of Pot Limit Omaha High-Low. Best 5 cards win currently, or none of the cards in this matter. And every once in a while, if we have one of these where it says reveal, we might show you what could have been and what should have been, but what wasn't. High-speed chase series. Also, bounties out for every player. Each player you knock out, you get a point on the leaderboard. As well as you get to keep your points in your point bank if you get knocked out and Chase hasn't stolen them all. Little added bonuses. But more risk. The longer Chase goes, the more he's worth, but the less you have in your bank. As a matter of fact, I believe it was Biggie Large and Casely going at it last week on game number 7, in which Chase had no more points to steal. He had maxed them out, stolen everything. That was the first time that had happened in Chase history. Chase has run all the way to the end of the game, but that was the first time he's actually taken all of the points that were available to him from the players. Ika, Kika, Casely, Biggie Large, Millie all in the hand here. 8-4 of hearts, king of clubs. Everybody checking it around for a free card here. And it's a 3 of hearts. By the way, the Syndicate has a theory. If you check it around, it's always going to be a 2 of something on the turn. In this case, it ended up being a 3. Just as bad. Although it was a heart. Could have helped the board there. There's a king to pair up the board with Ika and Casely. Checking it down for a freebie. Ika with the 10 high on the flush there. And we'll add some more chips back onto her pot. So how exactly does high-speed chase work? Well, here's a little bit of the rule board. Here's your player banks currently with Millie, Steven, Jammer, Ika, Casely, and Biggie starting off with 3 points. Chase has no points because he hasn't stolen anything yet. But he will in approximately another 2 minutes here if he ends up moving on. If you knock out the player that Chase is sitting with, you get the Chase Bank bounty as well as the bounty on the person you knocked out. And we'll keep you updated on who's got what and where, when, how, and why. Throughout the entire game. Big blind, small blind to the left of the dealer. Small blind is 10, big blind is 20. These are forced bets before any cards are dealt out. to the left of the dealer. Then everybody has the option to call that big blind bet, raise or fold. If nobody raises, when it comes back around to the big blind, that big blind has an option to check. And then the flop is dealt. In this case, a 7, Queen 8 of diamonds, 7 of spades. And then the action starts to the left of the dealer after the flop, or for the flop, whatever, you know what I mean. Pair of queens comes out. You guys can follow the action from here, another round of betting. At this point, everybody just wants a free card, and a 10 of hearts comes out for free on the end part of this. Everybody has 4 cards in their hand. They must use 2 cards from their hand and 3 cards from the community board in order to make the best 5-card hand. Starting off with a high card all the way up to a straight or / royal flush. In this case, we have a straight from Jam Rock and Roll on the river that he caught when the 10 came up. Lots of possibilities with 4 cards in your hand, but you have to use 2 of them, not just 1. And you can't use 3. And you can't use all 4. You must use 2 and only 2. And 3 and only 3 community cards in the game of Omaha. Unlike No Limit Hold'em, which we'll be going back to here shortly in another hand or two, where even the board itself can play, all 5 cards on the table can play and be the best 5-card hand on the hand. Everybody's checking around for a free card here so far. And an ace of diamonds. That's not a spade. That's not even the right color for a spade. What the fuck, man? And everybody just getting out this free hand here. This is a high-low hand. There is a qualifier. Any 3 cards of 8 or lower have to be on that board. So you have a ace, which plays high and low. And then a 7 and a 3. So there's 3 cards there that can qualify. You have to have 2 more in your hand that are below an 8. So the best 5-card low hand. And in this case, we actually have ourselves a scoopity-doop. That's when the player wins the high and the low. So Jam Rock and Roll will take the scoop on that one. Otherwise, you could see a split pot there, or a chop pot. We call it a split pot in the case of high-low, where one player might have the high hand, but one player might have the low hand. 50 to go. Chase, by the way, also has decided to dazzle off onto another player and is now worth 1 point. He was sitting with Jammer, of all people. Still asking for Millie's hand in marriage. Millie and Chase have a little romance going on ever since the day he snuck into the Syndicate compound. Queen of Hearts comes out on the turn. Everybody playing it slow and cautious so far still. And there's your free card. It's a 2 of clubs. See? I'm telling you, it happens. And with that, Biggie Large will take it with a 3 of a kind high hand there only, as we switch back over to No Limit Omaha. No Limit Omaha. Did I just really say that? I meant whoops. I meant No Limit Hold'em. There's an H in both of them. Doesn't that count? 2 queens on the board with a king. It's a rainbow flop, 1 of each suit. Now we have another club, another spade. It's a 4. So we have a queen, 4 of spades, queen of clubs, king of hearts. Being checked around. Everybody wanting the free cards tonight. 8 of clubs comes out on the river. And everybody real cautious here. 2 pair for Biggie Large there, who will take that one down. Chase sitting with another player, perhaps. Perhaps he doesn't. Sometimes he moves, sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he sits a couple of rounds with each player. Every blind round, he will move to another player after stealing a point from somebody. We will never tell you where he actually is at. We can always tell you where he was. Because some of the players do watch the live stream, so we don't want them to know, because that gives an unfair advantage for them to know where Chase is. 3 of clubs comes out on the river here. And that'll give Biggie Large some more chips there on a little itty bitty pot. Nothing too stupendous there. We do once again. Yeah, we do have the exclusive footage, by the way. See, these two are colluding. Absolutely, that's Daniel Biscuit and Chase partying it out in Las Vegas. I think they're best buds, but I think Chase will not be partying with Daniel this year because Daniel did not make the final game, and Daniel is sitting in, I believe, what did I say, 4th place? 5th place. 5th place. Daniel Biscuit did not get in a lot of Chase games this series go around. Casely looking for the win here to take the crown. Somebody will be taking the crown tonight. It's all based off of points that you get on your bonus bounty points, plus your Chase bonus, and your performance score as well, as far as where you finish the game, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th. Couple of aces on the board with an 8. 75 from Steven, the newcomer. Jam Rock and Roll will fold it out. What coulda, woulda? Coulda, woulda been a 6-7. As we head off into another hand here. Updated player profiles. I'm a little sad we don't get to use everybody's that we just got finished up this week. But stay tuned. Later, it will be the final table for Immortal. We do have that on the broadcast schedule tonight, as you watch the top 6 from the Immortal series take on each other for the crown of that. So 2 crowns coming in about, 4 hours apart? Well, 5, 6 hours, maybe. We'll see what happens there. Pair of 5s on the board with a 3-jack of clubs. Ace comes out on the river. Steven and Casely heads up in this one. $300 from Steven. He's going to go dancing with Casely. Casely's not a dancer, not on this hand, as Casely folds out. We head back over to we had whatever. That's English. Come on, voice of mystery. You lose your voice earlier, now you've just lost your mind. What the fuck's wrong with you, man? Chase moves on. He dances away from Casely and takes a point from Casely. So now Casely has 2 points in her bank. And Chase is now worth 2. Couple of aces on the board. Aces are hot. Spades are hot on this board. 400 up. Casely making it 300 more to Millie, but it's 400 to Steven now. Steven going over the top of that. Casely calls it with a full house. Aces full of 3s. Chasing it all the way down to the river there on that one. That was a very dangerous play, but it paid off, apparently. 4, 5, 6 on the board. It's a rainbow, a heart, a diamond, and a club. And an ace of spades comes out on the turn. And we pair up the board again with a pair of fives. Millie says 500 Ika. And another full boat with aces full of fives there. So Millie will take a bunch of chips from Ika there. So while Chase is out taking points from everybody, players are taking chips from each other now. The game's started to get spicy. So Chase is sat with Casely and Jammer so far. They're down to 2 bank points. Chase is now worth 2 for the knockout. Chase sitting with another random player currently. Jack of Hearts comes out on turn. Or the river, whatever that thing is. And Biggie Large will take a nice little chunk of change there. As we head off into another hand. It is the Syndicate Poker Club right here on YouTube. And check out the Syndicate Poker Club over at syndicatepokerclub.com. Player stats, how to join, series, events, game scoreboards, all that good stuff. All over at syndicatepokerclub.com. A little bit of backstories as well. And like we said, ways to join the Syndicate and find out more. Contact the Syndicate. All those good little links are over there on that website, including big happenings happening here in about 6 days. Been announced already. We'll re-announce it here later on in the stream here. But nobody's actually seen it yet. They just know it's there. Jam Rock and Roll with a big bet there. Millie calling it. And that will be a chop suey chop pot because they did chop the low. That is not a split pot. That is a chop pot. Millie able to get a little quarter of that. A little sliver. A little sliver of dinner. A sliver of supper? I'm trying to think of something that would sound like that. Bostonian, you know. My friend Billy's from Boston. Every time I see that, my... What is it? What is that? That Sam Adams lager commercial? My cousin from Boston always reminds me of him. Anyway, I digress. Pair of threes on the board. There's a queen, now an ace. Ace 3 of diamonds, queen of hearts, 3 of clubs. $200 to go. Over to Casely folding it out. Steven and Millie in the hand. 6 of hearts comes out on the river. And that will be a split pot. Another full house from Steven. In the world of Omaha. So there we are. Anyway, the Syndicate playing free-to-play poker at PokerNow.com. You too can play over at PokerNow.com. Just head on over there. Make a table. Or sign up. however you want to do it. But you can do it all for free at PokerNow.club, the original website name, but now known as PokerNow.com as well. Free online poker with friends. That's why there's these PokerNow icons on your screens here as well. And make sure to head over to the SyndicatePokerClub.com website as well. So until then, we've got another minute and a half till Chase moves again, unless something extravagant happens. I'll take a break from the mic. We'll be back in a moment with another round of Full to the Full House from the Syndicate All In, All Wrong album, which you can find over at Bandcamp.com. SyndicatePoker.bandcamp.com as Millie takes down 2 pair.
Like the books all say, laid down queens just the other day. Did the math, felt real mature. Didn't trust that board, I was feeling short. Then she showed Jack 5, hit a boat by fluke, and I died a little inside, sipping warm kombucha. I folded a full house, Lord help me now. Was trying to be wise, didn't want to kowtow. They're shoving with nothing, I'm playing it sound, and every bad player is taking me down. Next hand I flop trips, feeling the flow, then some dude insta jams like a TV show. I tank and fold, say nice hand, real kind. He flips over 6 high like he lost his mind. He says I had a blocker, then orders a coke, and I question my career and all of my hopes. I folded a full house, I let it go. They shove with there and still steal the show. Every raid I make is painfully right, but poker gods ghosted me out of spite. I study the charts, I play like a pro. They're eating hot dogs and winning the dough. One guy said I don't even know how to play, then turned quads and skipped away. I'm dreaming of bingo, where the rules make sense, cause this table's a circus and now I'm on the fence. I folded a full house, can't sleep at night. They're raising with Uno cards out of spite. I'm begging the dealer to just deal me out, while Chad goes all in with the mustard stain shout. So next time I see it, I might just call, even if the board's paired with 4 overcards and a flush draw. Triple espresso and a Mountain Dew chaser. Heart's racing like I'm dodging a laser. Over caffeinated and not drunk at all. No whiskey haze, just a caffeine brawl. Nerves on fire, but my screen is cold. This online hell's where my soul gets sold. And what I do in Mexico stays in Mexico. Sober as a monk in a poker trap, reading the board while losing my crap. Nothing I'm saying is making much sense. I argue with the cat, the game got tense. I wanna know where
thought. Turns out it was a napkin and a fork. Guess I'm playing poker on a caffeine torque. The group chat's roasting, they think I'm dead. I'm googling if caffeine fries your head. Where's Chase? Who knows? He's free in 10. While I'm here crying over rubber bands. Where the fuck is Chase with AC Slater? Sober as a monk in a poker trap. Reading the board while losing my crap. Nothing I'm saying is making much sense. I argue with the cat and the game got tense. I wanna know where Chase went. He ghosted mid-hand, just fucking left. Last I saw, he shoved with queen 5 off. Now he's in my ass. Wait, I'm in Miami. Sober as a monk in a poker trap. Reading the board while losing my crap. Nothing I'm saying is making much sense. Let's go! Sober as a monk in a poker trap. Reading the board while losing my crap. Nothing I'm saying is making much sense. I argue with the cat and the game got tense. I wanna know where Chase went. He goes to mid-hand, just fucking left. Last I saw, he shoved with queen 5 off. Now he's in my ass. Wait, I meant Miami.
Well, Biggie Large takes down another hand there with a flush on the flop. The nut flush with the ace high. High-speed chase, game number 8, the final high-speed chase of the series. Somebody's going to be crowned a winner tonight. Casely currently leading the series by about 10 points over, who was it, Ika? No, Casely over Jam Rock and Roll by 10 points, followed by Millie and Ika in third and fourth. Biggie Large down in sixth at 47 points. Casely has 76. Jam Rock and Roll at 66. Millie another 10 points behind that. It'll be interesting to see how it all rounds out. Because depending on where Biggie Large and Casely go out, could determine whether we have the champion crowned before the game's even over. Steven betting big, 375 here. Only a portion of the pot there, though, really. With a pair of kings sitting on the board. No idea what Steven had in his hand, though. That's for sure. Blinds are at 75, 150. Just for another moment or so here, probably through the end of this hand, we might get one more hand out of it before Chase moves on. Chase still sitting with one of the players. Whole lot on that board. That is what they call a wet board. There's a straight. Not even a flush there. Had the straight flush, the royal flush, so many flush options and still didn't hit. But Biggie Large was able to take that hand down, and Chase is still safe for one more hand here, as the timer did not expire until after we moved on to the next hand, so he will stay put for the moment. And Steven taking that one down. Casely not divulging any information on that one. Casely, one of the stronger players with the Syndicate, also one of the original players with the Syndicate. Has 2 crowns to her name. Took the Omaha Overdrive Series and the Syndicate's World Shift Series back in 2025. Has also played in the World Series of Poker multiple times. Currently has 1576. That we got to do something about that background in that profile picture. We can never see what the series game 1 percentage is. Best season sit and go ranking 49th. Hails out of Colorado. 6th overall with the Syndicate currently for the 2026 season. As we said, leading the Chase series currently on the series leaderboard. No final table with the Chase series. This one just comes down to one last game, and you are watching it right now. The Syndicate Poker Club playing free-to-play poker on PokerNow.com. Make sure to check out SyndicatePokerClub.com. Another full house for Biggie Large there. As we are still in some no-limit hold'em for one more hand. Chase has moved on. We did not run the graphic or let you guys know, but the chimpanzees have been set loose. The blinds have dropped to 30-60. Doesn't matter to Steven. He's still raising it up to $1.20. Pair of jacks on the flop with a pair of diamonds on the flop as well. Jack 10 of diamonds, jack of spades. Two of hearts comes out. And 90 to go, says Steven. And that's a no-go for Biggie Large on that hand, as Steven will take some more chips onto his chip stack. Sorry, I'm trying not to hack into the mic here, as my throat's getting scratchier every minute here. Chase now worth, what is that, 4 points now? After sitting with Steven. Sorry, no, after sitting with Millie. He already sat with Steven. That was a round before that. So Millie loses a point. Chase stealing from his girlfriend there. King 5 of spades, 9 of clubs in this this pot limit Omaha high hand. Hi, pot limit Omaha. Oh, hi, how's it going? Oh, it's good. You like being out here in Nebraska? No, it's fucking humid, you bitch. Okay, then, you want to play some really weird poker? Okay. And that was how they started Omaha in Nebraska. They didn't like the way they played poker in Texas. Because in Texas, they played it with no limit hold'em. And then in Nebraska, they said, no, we're going to make our own game. We're going to call it Omaha after our shitty little town. And so they did. And now we have it. And here it is. It's Omaha. Peyton Manning is very embarrassed to know these new facts about the term Omaha. He probably thought Omaha meant Omaha steaks. Not very good in my opinion either. Overpriced cat food. Hooray. Sorry. The opinions the opinions expressed by the voice of mystery do not necessarily reflect those of the Syndicate players. Jam Rock and Roll will take that one down, betting everybody out. As we head off into another pot limit Omaha hand here. Blinds at 100, 200 again. The chimpanzees have been put back in their cages as we get back to normal blind systems here again. Chase having sat with Steven again. Chase might have a new friend. So Steven's bank goes down to 1. Chase is now worth 5 points. Steven still with the chip lead at the table here during this game. Casely, Ika, both just still hanging on, hanging around that 2,000 chip mark currently. With a 7-3-3 on the board. 7-3 of hearts, 3 of spades. Bring that back up where it's supposed to be. Ace of Hearts comes out on the turn. Everybody playing the... I'll show you mine if you show me yours in the chat there. 5 of spades comes out on the river. Steven and Jammer going heads up here. And Steven will take that one with a scoop. Taking the high and the low there. Millie bowing out for limping in for the extra 100. Ika Kika in the hot seat. Goes 700. I was given all the information about how to pronounce Ika Kika and where the name all came from. But we're just going to stick with Ika Kika because I like it. And it's got a ring to it. Ika Kika, originally hailing out of St. Petersburg, Russia. Now in Georgia, in Europe. Not Georgia, U.S., Georgia, Europe. Won her first ever live tourney she ever played. Has won the Syndicate Horizon. Stupid thing is still not showing up here for some reason. But also was the Ascendancy crown winner at the end of the 2025 season with the Syndicate Poker Club. Currently has a 9.52% win average of games played with the Syndicate this season for 2026 and is currently sitting first overall with the new season here after just about getting ready to finish up this first session of many series that the Syndicate has played. 864 comes out. And it's rainbowed on top of that. Get the toilet paper. There's your 2 of clubs for free on the turn. And a 4 of clubs to pair the board at least. Might be something that saves his hand. Not much. The 2. It was the 2 on the turn. That's what made it. Absolutely crazy. Casely folding out. Biggie Large to limp in. No, Biggie Large says a couple more to go. Now Jammer does not want to play that one. Take a peek at what could have been out there. Would have been 2 pair for Biggie Large. Aces over 10s. But we never got that far. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. What was it? Don't know. Don't care. Biggie Large still won either way. Coming up later at 4 a.m. Eastern, the Immortal Final Table, where you will see a good portion of these players back on it again. This one for the crown of the Immortal series at the final table. Ika, Kika, Casely, Quadzilla will be joining them. Jam Rock and Roll, Freak Child will be in the house, as well as Millie. Millie still just coming in just shy of winning a couple of series here this week in the finals week. No offense to Millie, but she choked out earlier today during the triple threat final table against Godly. Was going heads up against Godly. Had her almost 2-1 chip stacked, and it just... Godly got aggressive and took down Millie to take that one. But Millie with a great showing this season so far. Ace of Spades comes out on the river there. Dangerous spade there. No flush. High card only. Steven got away with murder there, possibly. But nobody else had the flush either. So good bet there by Steven, betting everybody out. Chase possibly moving on again here momentarily. $8.25 to go from Steven here. Everybody folding out. Ika, Kika, Casely hanging on with 1,000 there. Ace, King, King, Steven shows there. And with that, Chase does move on. Blinds are at 150, 300. Still sitting on a pot limit Omaha 8 hand here now. $300 to go to Casely. Goes all in on the shove. $785 pre-flop. Biggie Large will try to donate here possibly. A lot going on here. Pair versus high card so far. Pair of fives. Now we got a two. Wow. We got a lot going on here. Well, that's going to solve that one right there. That's going to be a complete split pot. A few extra chips in Casely's pocket there. Keeping her alive at this point. Just on the back side of the button. With Chase moving on, though, Millie's got 2 bank points. Steven has now been robbed twice. He's down to 1 bank point. Jammer's got 2. Ika and Casely with 2. Biggie currently with 3. The only one with all of his bank points. Chase currently worth 6. If somebody knocks out a player that Chase is sitting with. Everybody also gets a bonus point for knocking out any player. regardless of whether Chase is sitting with him or not. Ika Kika makes the pre-flop shove at 10:45. Another 7:45 to go here towards Millie. Millie will fold it out. Ace-10 versus Ace-Deuce. Could be a flip. Not so much right off the bat here. And that'll do it right there. Ika Kika looking pretty safe there with one card to go. There it is. So Ika will hold tight against Steven, the newcomer, and get a little bit more than a double up on that one, and get back into the game here so far. Ace Queen of Hearts. Millie will take that. With a big old Broadway. Could not get any action on that one. Another minute and a half to go before Chase possibly moves back on to somebody else. Or sticks around. We don't know. Queen 8 of diamonds, 4 of spades comes out on the flop here. As we're back to no limit hold'em. Board pairs the threes at the end, runner, runner. Check down with the aces as the kicker on the help there. And that puts Casely in a very different predicament now. Not able to catch any cards. Since the beginning of the game, losing on the full house to Steven. There's the all-in shove at the end here. Ace-4 against 9-4, looking good. No 9 to come, and Casely will survive. And Casely will take that, double up a little bit, gets a 1270 pot there. So Casely fighting her way back into this game. Casely known for the massive comebacks, as a matter of fact. Has happened a number of times. But able to survive. Biggie Large, also known as Biggie the Bully. Back in the early part of his career with the Syndicate. Still don't know where he hails out of. All we know is he's old. His best sit and go ranking over at PokerNow has been 67th. He has a 6.9% series game winnage over games played. Currently sits 12th overall with the Syndicate for the 2026 season. Another player who's been around since the dawn of the Syndicate. Ten of diamonds comes out on a standard pot limit Omaha hand. And Biggie Large will take that one and take some chips from Jam Rock and Roll. We did forget to tell you right before that hand, though, Chase has moved on and gains another point. And we got about another 8 minutes before Chase either moves on or we take a break or whatever's going on. We shall see. We shall find out. But the one thing that we do know, Chase was sitting with Biggie. So even though Biggie, when we looked at the scores a moment ago, Biggie was the only one with the full bank left. He is no longer. Everybody's lost a point to Chase now. Chase making it around the table 7 times to 7 different rounds, whatever. So Chase worth 7 points now when he gets caught. If he gets caught before any time. Poker Cat wanting to make a ruling on this game here. Steven says 1100 to go. Give you guys a little sneak peek on that one. $1,100 to go from Steven pre-flop here. Casely will call it and actually shove all in here. Pair sixes with an ace deuce. Pair aces over a pair of jacks right now. 3 of a kind. Jacks have tripped up for Steven. But Casely will survive by catching the low. So that will just be a split pot there, as Casely survives again. Casely saying, damn jacks. Jacks and ace queen, the epitome of the Syndicate Poker Club. Ace queen, known as the Ika hand. Ace queen never wins for Ika. And jacks never win for Casely. They always win for somebody else, and usually against Casely. A lot of diamonds on the board here. All in for Casely. 3 of a kind flush. Jam, rock, and roll. And Casely not able to catch anything there. And Casely will exit the game in 6th place from Jam, rock, and roll. Chase still safe, though. Ika Kika all in with ace jack here. Pocket kings for Biggie Large will take that one. Biggie Large getting the knockout. Chase still on the table, though. So Ika Kika going out in 5th place, right behind Casely. So Ika Kika and Casely both keeping their 2 bank points. So that will be added to their final score for the game. Chase still on the table, stealing shit though. Jam and Biggie both picking up a point each for a knockout there. And Millie taking that hand down, as nobody wanted to play with that bet. And nobody wanted to play with Biggie Large either. All that was going to be out there was a pair of 3s, a 5, a 4, and a 7. If you would have had a 6, you would have had a straight. But nobody wanted to find out. And nobody wanted to find out here. Biggie Large showing his ace king, and he would have had the Broadway there. But it doesn't matter. He still won the hand anyway. You say ether, and I say ether. Ether, ether. And there's another rabbit run for you guys as everybody's folding pre-flop on these. High-speed chase, game number 8, the final high-speed chase of this series. A winner will be crowned by the end of the game. Jam Rock and Roll and Casely in the top 2 slots. Jam Rock and Roll still in the game. Casely knocked out in 6th, but took 2 bank points with her. And another quick rabbit run from Steven there with 3 of a kind. On the 9s. Got a minute 45 here left in this round, and then we will be off to a break with Chase still on the table here. Everybody with chips at the table as well. Biggie Large, your current chip leader. Ten of diamonds on the river. Millie likes it for 800. Steven, the newcomer, wants to think about this one for a change. Oh, goes way over the top. Goes 6,400. With a 9, king of hearts, king of clubs, an 8 of spades, a 10 of diamonds. There's a king, there's an 8. That was a boat. Steven had it on the turn. Playing it cool. And we will split that pot up there with a high and a low. Nothing too exciting. As we get ready to head into the break, we'll see what happens on this final hand. Steven on the option here. We will see the flop. 7, 9 of diamonds, queen of hearts. Checked by both players. 5 of clubs comes out on the turn. And a king of spades finish out this last hand before the break. Pardon my throat there. Millie gets it down. And we'll take 1,000 back into her chip stack. So there you are. We got 4 players left on Syndicate Poker Club's high-speed chase. Game number 8, the final high-speed chase. And we will be back to see how this all rounds out here in just a few minutes. Momentarily, you guys can all be entertained by what's coming next from the Syndicate. Pretty exciting, if you ask me.
Risk. Power. Loyalty. Syndicate. hearts on midnight hands, on shattered dreams and broken plans. Every backstab became a sign, and now we've redrawn the lines. Every king can lose his crown, every stack a loaded round. Every heartbeat counts the cost, every gain was once a loss. No throne was ever safely won, no war was fought without a gun. If fate was written in the flame, we struck the match and signed our names. Season zero starts it all. Will you answer the call? The wagering rises, one table above them all. No more legends left to save, no more ghosts inside the flames. Season zero begins tonight. The brave wager and fight. I slip the cups with a smile. Oh, hear the chimps applaud. Tambourines and chaos, darling, I was born to break the law. With sequins on my jacket and chamomile perfume, I strolled out of that prison like I own the whole damn room. I take your chips, your watch, your pride. Why hold back when you can glide? It's a high-speed chase, and I'm the ace, bluffing through the sirens as I pick up pace. I got diamonds in my pocket and hearts on my sleeve. I steal more than I win, but oh, I never leave this high-speed chase. Don't blink, don't breathe. I'll take the pot, the crown, the keys, and then I'll take my leave. Your bankroll vanishes with flair. Oh look, my chimps are in your chair.
Well, we are back with the high-speed chase. Game number 8. Last 4 standing right now. Jam Rock and Roll, Biggie Large. The newcomer, TR Steven. And Millie hanging in there. Biggie Large currently with the chip lead. Could change up here in just a moment, though. 3,600 over the top. Going 3 times over, says Mr. Steven. Biggie Large. Not having it. Had the king, so did Steven. Could have come down to a kicker issue. Or a possible 2 pair there. Still into some no limit hold'em now. Big boy Chase, by the way, was sitting with Millie on that last round before the break. Jam Rock and Roll grabbing a pair of aces on the river there. Pardon me, trying not to die here. Jam Rock and Roll, hailing out of Australia, one of the old farts of the club. 68 years old, with a 6.56% game win average over games played with the Syndicate for the 2026 season. Once got quad aces at the Flamingo on a trip to Vegas. Currently sits second overall with the Syndicate Poker Club. Jack 10 of hearts and a 4 of spades here. 1,500 is what Biggie Large says it's worth. Steven will not play. Jammer in the hand. Biggie Large continuing it on with another 15. And a 9 of clubs to round out this board. And Jam Rock and Roll will take that one down. As Jammer will take a nice little, well, actually just kind of backing him up into Steven there. Clipping on his heels. Current player banks, Ika and Casely are out. They, that got cut off. But they both ended the game with 2 bank points, so that'll help them at the end. Chase currently worth 8 points. Biggie, Jammer, both with only 2 points left in their bank. Steven and Millie with only 1. Biggie Large going 2,400 here. And up over the top, doubling it up, putting Biggie Large all in. 3 of a kind on Biggie Large. Over a pair of aces for Steven. Could catch a club here. Doesn't look like it's going to work. No, sirree, Bob. That'll be 3 of a kind for Biggie Large. Taking some chips out of Steven's hand and putting them back into his stack there. Blinds at 300, 600. Steven going up over the top again. Not sure if that was a straddle bet. It didn't show it. Straddles are active on the High Speed Chase series. And that's a no-go from everybody. Couple of jacks. Some clubs out there. But we'll never know what actually could have, would have, should have happened. As we did not see any player hands with that one there. Eight, 7, 4. 8, 7 of hearts. 4 spades. Now a 7 of spades to pair up the board. Biggie Large with a pair of 10s there. Steven showing off a couple of 4s. Millie has exited the game in 4th place. Chase was not with Millie, surprisingly enough. So Chase still wandering around. I believe Millie went out with 1 point in her bank there. Yes, she did. $2,400 to go here. And we will have a chop pot, split pot, with the high and the low there, as we head back into some no limit hold'em here. Chase will be moving, possibly after this hand, as he still continues to wander around the table, sitting with one of these players, and nobody knocked out, so he will move on, as Chase dances off to somebody else and takes another point into his pocket. And he stole a point from Jammer. So that will make Chase worth 9 points now, I believe. We will check the official scoreboard here momentarily. Steven with the current lead at the table. Jam Rock and Roll sitting in second right at the moment. And with that, we will give you the update on the player bank poll. We don't have Millie marked out yet, but Millie left the game with 1 point. Ika Kika had 2. Casely had 2. Steven, Jammer, both with 1 point. Biggie Large still has 2, but Chase is now worth 9. As well as the knockout points and bounty points that the boys have gotten here from knocking out Ika, Casely, and Millie. Picking on the girls again, yar. The Syndicate boys are. Blinds at 400, 800. 3 of diamonds on the river. Jammer taking that one down. Biggie Large now the short stack at 16 something. Sitting in the small blind, had to throw out 400 right to go. Steven goes for the aggressive pre-flop bet on that one. Gets everybody to fold out. Pretty much Biggie Large's last free chance there. He will be in the big blind here for 800. Leaving 480 in his stack pre-flop. After the blind he had to post. Steven going to put him all in here. Biggie Large folds it out. Surrenders it down. Not good enough to even give it a try there. Not liking it. So Biggie Large pretty much all in here. Pre-flop for 480. Could be a triple up for Biggie Large with a jack, king of clubs, king of diamonds, a pair of boards, a pair on the board. Jammer and Steven going to build a side pot here, possibly. No, just a main pot between Biggie Large and Jam Rock and Roll. Biggie Large with the flush on the turn there. So Biggie will hold tight to Jam Rock and Roll's 3 of a kind. And Jammer getting a little piece of a side pot there. left over from him and Steven. Biggie Large calling in for the pre-flop action here. Ace King of Hearts, 9 of Diamonds. Everybody's getting a free 5 of Hearts here on the turn. On this last high-low hand. And Biggie Large will exit out there. And that will be it. Chase just got caught. So with that, the chase is over. We are now just playing some standard poker now with Steven and Jam Rock and Roll. So at the time that Chase was caught, Chase was worth 11 points this week in this final game.
stacking overlay says I'm 80% to rule.
Flop a set of queens, surprise, here comes the fourth club. Chat explodes with LOLs like some cut recruitment hub. Dealer button winks at me, I swear I heard it giggle. And right before the payout jump, the power lines will wiggle.
I'm keeping notes, drawing graphs, correlation or a laugh. Funny how the coin flips hide their tails.
The fucking game is rigged. Patterns tighter than my grip. Every river's pre-recorded, every miracle is scripted, and the house just plays the clip. Yeah, the damn game is rigged, but I'm rebuying like a stooge. 'Cause denial is cheaper than therapy and truth. So deal me in, abuse me with your ruse.
Tuesday dawn maintenance break right as I'm up 2 blinds. Come back, my table swap for bots with matching dollar signs. They min click 3-bet garbage, timing sync like drum machines. Then riverboat against my straight, exactly how it's been.
And don't forget, coming up after this game, in about 2.5 hours, the Immortal Final Table, Ika, Casely, Quadzilla, Jam Rock and Roll, Freakchild and Millie all taking on each other for the crown. Freakchild and Millie both looking for their first, as well as Quadzilla. Well, Jam Rock and Roll still looking for a crown too. So, yeah, your bottom 3 of that list still looking for their first crown with the Syndicate overall. But that'll be coming up here a little bit later, right here on YouTube on the Syndicate channel, live, 4 a.m. Eastern. Ace Jack comes out on the flop. And it looks like Steven will take a big knock to Jam Rock and Roll's legs with that one. So Steven, the newcomer, coming on strong here in this game. Blinds at 501,000. Chase caught just a little bit ago by Steven, who will take the chase points. There were actually 10 of them. I misspoke earlier. So Steven will grab some good points for his first leaderboard appearance in the chase series. Last game, though. Jam Rock and Roll. Steven heads up here for an all-in. Jack 3 versus Ace 9. The Jack 3 suited will hold. And Steven will win the chase game number 8 here with the Syndicate Poker Club. Jam Rock and Roll taking the second. Biggie Large taking third. Millie in fourth. Ika ended up in fifth. Casely in sixth. But before we go, I think we will just have to let you guys know here real quick. We're putting in the final tally here for something real quick just to verify something. And that'll pretty much verify it right there. Yes, it does. Casely actually ends up winning the chase series. Casely will end up as the leaderboard champion, which is the only way to win the chase series because it's a special bounty bonus series. Casely ended up winning at 82.06. Jam Rock and Roll at 76.20. Actually, no, those numbers are not 100% correct. We'll give you one more second here. Because actually that's going to get a little bit inflated here. Steven ended up with 3 bounty points. Not brownie points, bounty points. So actually that putting in his totals will change everybody's actual final totals just a little bit. Didn't skew them too much. 82-37 for Casely. Having played 7 games, Casely overall had 5 bounties and 20 points total in chase bonuses. So twice caught chase. Jam Rock and Roll only caught chase once for 9 points. Ended up in the series at 76-94. So check it all out over at syndicatepokerclub.com. It's all broken down for you. All the final results are there, as Casely will be the chase champion this year of high-speed chase. But we always know Chase will be back. He doesn't go away for very long. And we won't be gone for very long either. We'll see you all here in about 2.5 hours with the immortal final table here with the Syndicate Poker Club, playing free-to-play poker at PokerNow.com.